What's up, everybody? This is Brad, and today we're going to have a little bit of fun because last night Epic decided to drop a new video on their Unreal Engine YouTube channel called A Look at Epic's Art Concepting Process. And oh boy, was it a doozy. So let's get into it and have some fun ripping this thing to shreds.
Hey everyone, this is Pat.
And this is Chris.
I'm a VFX soup here.
And I'm a technical artist at Epic Games. So we thought this would be a good moment to pull back the curtain and give you a peek at how artists at Epic are making digital art and content, blending traditional tools like Blender and Photoshop with evolving technologies like Nano Banana and GPT Image used within our own internal interface.
Oh, so you see what they're doing here? They're going to explain how they're using generative AI to make Fortnite skins and, like, lobby backgrounds. Great, isn't it? Now, this is so aggravating to me because I've seen this video, but it's, I've already seen it, and the utilization of AI for this is so pointless. It is so pointless, but it's also very obvious what they're doing, and if you pay attention, you'll notice the trick. There is a trick that they're utilizing here, and I'm going to point it out to you. Let's get to this whole idea here.
Start with an idea, explore and refine it through concepting, and hand it off for modeling, texturing, and rigging before it goes into our editor for materials and ships in the game.
The next few segments are real concepting workflows from Epic's art teams, the actual processes they use to take a creative vision from a blank canvas all the way to something that ships in the game.
One of our
In other words, where you just come up with an idea.
Concept artist draws a character from scratch. Just a blank canvas and an idea.
All right, so let's see. They've got a blank canvas. They're drawing the picture.
Contrapposto to give her some life.
This character is a falconer, so the artist sketches in a bird to help reinforce the character's identity.
He moves into color blocking, then tightens
adding a few details,
lines, working out the jacket design before moving into Gen.
Now check this out. Now look, that is a perfectly acceptable piece of concept art for a character. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's all hand drawn. The colors were added manually. All of the details were drawn onto the character, like by hand, by a human being. Nothing wrong with that, right? Of course not. But looks like somebody's getting creative. Or not.
That's one of our internal tools built right into Photoshop. You draw, get assistance, and then paint some more.
You draw, get assistance, and then paint some more. Assistance here, meaning they're going to take the thing that you drew and change the art style completely. Now I want you to read this. You may not be able to see the prompt because of my face. I'm going to read it out to you once they get it completely typed out.
Like when 3D artists.
Okay, it says, clean up the rendering on this Fortnite character. Don't change the design, just the rendering. Don't change the design, just the rendering. Now watch what it gives them.
Pick their model to a 3D renderer to get a refined result. The artist here prompts Gen Media with some guardrails to help take the 2D rendering further on his concept. Here, prompt 3D artists pick their model to a
into Gen Media Bridge. That's one of our internal tools built right into Photoshop. You draw, get assistance, and then paint some more.
Like when 3D artists pick their model to a 3D renderer to get a refined result, the artist here prompts Gen Media with some guardrails to help take the 2D rendering.
Oh, look at that. They had the AI change the art style, the design, because the art style is part of the design. There are some characters who don't look quite right in different art styles, and when you draw a character different ways, it's gonna put off a different vibe or have, it's gonna give off a different feel. There's a reason why, there's a reason why it's a funny comparison to like when people were putting Doom guy with, Isabelle from Animal Crossing. That gritty look to Doom, is, sort of the polar opposite of the cute and cuddly design of Isabelle. So those two games, based on the art direction of them, put off different vibes and kind of let you know what to expect. That's not always true, like Conker's Bad Fur Day looked just like Banjo-Kazooie, but Conker was a very adult-oriented game. But still, the art design was there specifically to sort of lower your guard, to make the violence in it a bit more, to make it stand out more, because you're looking at these silly cartoony characters, but it's very graphically violent. So, that's all part of art direction. So when they told this AI to clean up the render, they made sure to throw in that this is a Fortnite character so that they would know to make it look like a Fortnite character. So they could add in, don't change the design all you want. It changed the overall look of the character. Now, we're going to get into some funny details here. So again, they fed this thing contradictory orders, and this is what it got.
Further on his concept. The third pass was solid, but it added a scroll to the pouch and some details he did not ask for.
Uh-oh. The AI added a skull to the pouch instead of drawing it like the concept art was supposed to have as a little buckle on it to keep it closed. Nope. It thought that was supposed to be a skull, so now you got to go in and manually edit out the skull and put the proper, design back in place. And they're sitting here tweaking more of the details on the thing because it didn't get it right.
This goes out. The design is king. AI can generate generic stuff all day, but that's not what we're doing here.
Yes, it is. You are generating generic stuff. This looks like every other Fortnite skin in the game. Like, this looks like a generic Fortnite skin. There's no personality to it anymore. Any personality that was in the original sketch is gone. And it's because they erased the artist's original vision to put in place generic Fortnite art. And the thing is, they didn't even need to do this because they could have just sent the original concept sketch to the 3D modelers and they would have turned it into a full-fledged skin for you. That's how they used to do it.
No, the creative control stays in the hands of the creator.
Creative control stays in the hands of the creator. Yeah, we fed this into an AI because I can't draw the Fortnite art style. I gotta let the computer do it for me. By the way, it also gave this girl this female skin got a new glove it was not supposed to get. Why did it do that? Who knows?
Ahead in the timeline, so he can focus on honing in on the design.
It skips ahead in the timeline. You know what else would skip? What would help skip even more further into the timeline? Don't even hire a concept artist. Just let the AI generate it from scratch. Like if we're saving time, and that's the most important thing, then keep firing people. Fire another 1,000 artists or whoever you need that you don't think you need anymore, and just let the AI take over all their jobs. Right? It saves time. Why wouldn't you do that again?
Crafting it exactly how he wants it to be.
And you know good and well that all this was probably done in AI too, especially the shots from behind where it shows the character facing the opposite direction with a different hairstyle. You know they just sent that into the AI.
Exactly how he wants it to be. Next, one of our key art concept artists is building a more complex finished composition.
This briefs an aspirational suburban location with a lighthearted tone. He lands on a yarn store and a cat character, then goes through several names.
All this is stuff that they've drawn themselves, I'm assuming.
To play off the cat. Classic cat and mouse. Now it goes into...
I mean, something you guys need to realize is like, when they talk about shipping out concepts and stuff like that, a concept art is supposed to look like this. This briefly, quickly sketched thing to give you a general idea of what is going to be, made. It doesn't have to have the full rendering and all that. So there was no reason to send this to the AI, but whatever. Let's get into what they do here.
Now it goes into Blender to block out the scene in 3D, dragging and dropping.
See, they're just using
exported from Unreal Engine
they're
sources.
using pre-made assets, but that Epic owns that.
Is rigged and exported from the engine.
Once the scene is blocked, the Yarn Barn logo is cleaned up and projected onto the 3D geometry in Blender, with the mouse sign sculpted for the roof.
So this is all standard 3D modeling and applying the 2D artwork to the 3D model.
What matters is
that's just standard,
image, not perfecting the mesh. From here, it's into Photoshop, where he paints over the image and uses Gen Media to accelerate the rendering process.
We're back to Gen Media again. We've got this closed door here. It's not what we want. We want it open, and so instead of sketching it that way, We've got to change it.
Media to accelerate the rendering process. These artists know that if anything changes drastically, it can be fixed manually.
These artists know that if anything changes drastically, we can just fix it manually. Well, then just do it manually in the first place. There's no reason to feed this stuff the things that you're designing just so that it can replace you later. Like, you just saw like over 1,000 of your buddies, your teammates, your fellow epic artists and you know, programmers and all these people who were working on this game with you. You just saw over 1,000 of them get let go. Like, you don't think that you're not up to get cut too?
And Chris, here's where we're seeing the real advances. Once the original artwork's established, you can start experimenting fast. Swap out Meow Skulls for her cloud.
And see, they don't have any creative. Like, there's none. We could start experimenting fast. See, like, we did the boring work. It's over. Now we can just start screwing around.
Swap
Which, by the
out
way,
Meow Skulls for her Cloud9 style. Test the POI
look at that. Look at how horrible that Cloud9 render of Meow Skulls is. Looks horrible.
Fast. Start experimenting fast.
Meow Skull's eyes, like look at the difference. Look at the difference in when they do this. And by the way, people who are familiar with Blender or whatever program this is they're using, I think it's Blender, said you could very easily, without the AI, have swapped the standard Meow Skull's style with her alt style. Like, you could have done that in Blender just already. Like, basically, like, copy, replace. I do that sometimes in the video editor I use, Shotcut. You can just take an image, size it to what you need. You need to replace that image with a different image. You just copy and copy and replace it. It's very easy. It's what they could have done here. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to make the AI do it.
Swap out Meow Skulls for her Cloud9 style. Test the POI.
And it just doesn't look right. The eyes are wrong.
A meteor shower and see how it plays at this
The
location.
face is wrong. The entire face is wrong.
Process, artists continue to polish and refine, but now
and this one kills me the most of all, saying that artists stay in control. You didn't draw these meteors. You told the AI to put them there.
At every stage of the process, artists continue to polish and refine, but now teams can revise faster, so artists have more opportunities to explore.
And see, that's what it is. It's like we're gonna get the basic thing done quick, and then just, you know, fart around with the details. Like, how many bullet holes need to be in this car? Like, that's the real important thing that we need to do here. What color is Meow Skull's t-shirt? We need to make sure that we get all these super important, very small details put in place.
Artists have more opportunities to explore.
I mean, the important thing is let's skip right to the end so we can just do all the detail work. Again, the whole point of all this generative AI stuff is to just speed run making art. Take the thought out of it, take the experimentation out of it, and just get it out there. That's what AI products is all about. Mass production, as few employees as possible, as little time and effort as possible, maximum profit. That's the goal. As much money as possible with as little actual work being done, including as replacing as many of your employees as you possibly can. And it's not just in art either. This is happening everywhere.
Designing a POI, the drive-through diner with a 60s retro feel. It starts on a grid in Photoshop, so its design conforms to the building.
And what sucks is, like, whoever is drawing this is actually doing a very good job. They don't need to use the AI.
Here we see that he blocks in the walls, duplicates them out, adds a protruding entrance.
See, let's go back to this. You see what they did?
System and can be broken out as modular pieces, working orthographically for control over design.
Yeah, and here we see that.
Like, they use like the copy and paste feature to like fully flesh this out. Like, nobody's gonna say that you can't do that because you still drew it. Like, nobody cares if you copy and paste, you know, a building and flip it so that it stays symmetrical, because you at least drew the original thing. And it's not just generating it.
adds a protruding entrance with 2 pillars for an interesting side.
It's not a computer pulling from an online database to say, here's what this half of the building would look like. Here's the other half of the building for you. We built that.
Layers in the drive-through, outdoor seating, and variation to break up the shape. Then it's time for the branding. We love when buildings have a mascot, like Durburger or Pizza Pit. The winner here? A chubby, silly seal squashed between 2 pieces of bread and a plunger on the head for silhouette balance. The silly sandwich. Nailed it.
I love it. With the design done, he adds local flavors first, then shadows and specular to indicate form and material changes.
See, nothing wrong with
He
that.
breaks the building into pieces along the grid lines, extracting modular components and solving the sides and drive-through window that the orthographic view didn't fully resolve. Then it's into Blender for a gray box blockout. Then the breakout sheet goes into Workflow Builder and Nano Banana Pro.
Uh-oh. Back to the AI again. Now they're going to try to get the AI to generate this artwork under this 3D model for them, instead of putting it manually. But what I love about this part, because I've seen this already, is that they're about to run through a list of all the things the AI gets wrong.
For clean PBR render shots and adjusting the perspective of the breakout pieces. The results are good, but not perfect one-to-one. The tower's boxy instead of tapered, awnings are the wrong color, some trims are missing. That's why it's a starting point, not a finish line.
So they just went through this look, it got all this stuff wrong. Like, we fed this stuff directly into the AI and it still screwed it up. Well, why are you using it then?
Paints over it in Photoshop and makes it exactly what he envisioned.
And now, Pep, the last.
No reason for this. There was absolutely no reason they couldn't have just done this, though.
Some trims are missing. That's why it's a starting
From the
point,
start.
Not a finish line. He paints over it in Photoshop and makes it exactly what he envisioned.
I mean, there was no need to use AI for that. None. They just did it to show you that it can render, it can make these images. That's the only reason that they showed that they used AI in this, is to say, hey, we don't need to use this, but we're using it, and here's what it does. And it's to give you baby bites of the AI, saying like, look, we're only using it a little bit. We're not using it a lot, so don't get too mad at us. Knowing full well that they're just going to go further into this direction.
Now, Pep, the last step.
That's obviously the play here.
Blender to control the camera angle and bring it back into Photoshop for a sketch on top. Some foliage in the foreign background and a car in the drive-thru. He uses that sketch and the orthographic design as reference. Runs another generative pass in Nano Banana Pro for a.
And again, they just fed it into the AI again, letting the artwork do everything.
He uses that sketch and the orthographic design as reference. Runs another generative pass in Nano Banana Pro.
See, look at it. They didn't draw any of that. They did not draw that car. Did not draw those trees. It's just generated assets.
For a full contextual shot, then paints over that in Photoshop too. Trim colors, awnings, planters, background values to manually bring it back to the original design. The final piece goes to asset production alongside the breakout sheet so environment artists know exactly how the building is supposed to look.
Oh, here, yeah, the final AI produced version of this art is going to be sent to the game developers so that they will put this in the game to look exactly like this.
All along the way, there are continual reviews before
There's
anything
no
makes
need.
it into our games.
Now, I love this.
Artists are careful to respect originality, track provenance of their work, and make sure the finished product meets Epic's high-quality standards.
We're using AI, but we promise it'll still be high quality. Trust us. Wink, wink. We promise we're not just going to cut corners, and we're not going to go more into AI later. We would never do that and let go of even more people.
We hope you enjoyed a behind-the-scenes peek at our creative process.
I
Thanks for
didn't.
hanging out with us. See you at the Silly Sandwich.
No, you won't, because you suck. This is dumb. But I hope you caught the trick that they're trying to do here. there's a reason why they pointed out the AI's flaws. And that's to make you a little bit more comfortable with the idea that they're not going to just keep using it. Or that, oh, they're going to have to go in and fix what the AI generates, so that's okay. It's still artist controlled. They kept throwing that, the artist remains in complete control here. Yeah, until they fire you. Like, I don't know, creatives have got, like, this has been happening for a while now. Creatives across the board have been getting fired or replaced for their work. Voice actors, that's something that's familiar for me, because I've done voice acting work for, since like 2009, off and on. And there have been many cases where these game studios have decided to hire, to pay for AI-generated voice acting, and people thought it sucked, and then they ended up having to go turn around and hire actual voice actors to come in and perform their characters. And everybody, and even the studio themselves, I can't remember which studio it was, but they came out and said, you know what, you guys were right. Having actual voice actors does sound a lot better than just AI voices. I mean, and plus the trouble with AI voices in like the scenario of like the Darth Vader AI from last year's Fortnite Star Wars Galactic Battle season was that people figured out how to make it say slurs really quickly, even though it was programmed not to do that. So it's just everywhere. AI generated music is being used to copyright strike people who make original music on YouTube. There was a singer who was releasing her own original music. I think she played a banjo. I can't remember what her name was, but she was making her own music, completely original, put it on YouTube, and then somebody took her videos, fed them into an AI, and had it generate their own music, and then they copyright struck her original videos, claiming now that they owned those songs, that they were the original creators, not her. And it caused her a big headache. I think she got that resolved. But the fact that somebody thought, like, I can steal this person's work and then use it against them. Like, that's just, like, that is a huge, big red flag for what this stuff is really meant to do. It's meant to replace you. It's meant to have people who don't want to do the work, but want to still be able to say, here, look what I made. I liken it to people who, I liken AI generated art to putting a microwave meal into your, to thawing out a microwave meal. Did you cook that food? No, you didn't. But if you pull that out of the microwave, thaw it out, and hot, and you sit it on the table and say, I cooked this. No, you're lying. You didn't cook that. Somebody else did. You just pushed a button or two. The machine did all of the work. Well, the original chef who cooked all this food and prepared it did most of the work. The machine processed it in a way that you could present it to people as something edible. That's what generative AI is. And it's frustrating to see one of my favorite games that I play, just go down this road. Because I know that Tim Sweeney loves AI, and he's even been, criticized Steam for making game devs disclose when they're using AI. He says that, well, AI is the future, and all game development is going to use AI in the future, so it's just completely pointless to make people differentiate between games that use it and don't use it now, because eventually there will be no difference. Of course, Tim Sweeney's a billionaire, and his position in Epic Games as the head of the company is nowhere in jeopardy. No matter how good the game does or doesn't do, he'll keep his job. Everybody else is on the chopping block. And I wish I could I wish I could talk to the people who were the two artists who were participating in this and talking about how great the AI tool is, even though it kept screwing everything up. Guess what? You guys, your jobs are on the line too. And probably one of the main reasons why you didn't get fired with that previous 1,000 is because you decided you were okay with doing the videos like this. But yeah, the big trick that they used in this video was mentioning that the AI was flawed. And so it sort of reinforces like that idea for people who are already coming in going like, I don't know if I like this AI thing or not. People who are genuinely concerned. So they made sure to include the AI screwing up to sort of like get you to lower your guard and be like, oh, well, okay, they're acknowledging that the AI isn't perfect. They're saying all the right things. Problem is, they're not doing the right thing. This is not the right thing to do. There was at no point in this video did they have to use generative AI. Because we saw them hand draw that skin and that key art and that POI. There was no reason for them to do that. They could have done all that stuff without the AI, and then they could have been saved the time of having to go back in and have to correct the things the AI screwed up. So it was just a waste of time. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. And again, this is affecting jobs everywhere, not just in the art sector, not just in entertainment, even in like restaurants like Pizza Hut. They just announced today, Pizza Hut is getting sold off from the parent company that owns it. And apparently the reason why is because the franchises at Pizza Hut were being told to use AI, and it made their job much more difficult. It made delivering pizzas take longer, and people were just overall unsatisfied with their service. But instead of telling Pizza Hut to just, okay, we'll go back to the way you were doing things and just don't use the AI, no, they're just going to sell the company now because they would rather have the AI than have Pizza Hut. So, yeah, it's bleak times ahead. And, you know, with the current government in power, they're all in on AI. They love it. Anything to fire as many people as possible and make more money, they're going to go with. But I just wanted to rant on this a bit. And I appreciate you guys for watching. If you watched all the way through, thanks again. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you enjoyed this video. And I don't know what else to do in this case other than just point out that they're just going fully on board with the AI thing. And despite how they tried to, cushion the blow, as it were, and try to, make it look like it's not as bad as it is, but it is. I don't know what to do. I'm probably not going to make as many Fortnite videos going forward now. I do have one I've already started on. I'm probably going to finish it since I've already started working on it and I already got it recorded. But probably going to be buying less V-Bucks to buy less skins. I'll do what I got to do to clear the battle pass because I already bought the battle pass. But I'm going to really start rethinking how I approach this game. Because they're going to just keep doing AI slop, and it will progressively become more and more dependent on AI, because that's how all this stuff is. It's the direction that the industry is taking. We defeated NFTs because we were told that NFTs were the future too. It's the future of technologies, NFTs. It's a new product you can buy. Well, nobody bought it, and it flopped, and now it's all worthless. NFTs are dead. Hopefully AI will go that route too, because there's a giant AI bubble, and even with the Pope declaring that it's basically an anti-human tool because it removes all of the aspect of human creativity from creating whatever product it is you want created, so therefore it's just anti-human. Not to mention the environmental impact that it has on surging, rising energy costs, and how it's, using more water. The AI consumes more water than people do. And it's loud as crap, and it's just a humongous source of noise pollution. But yeah, that's what this AI thing is about. It's about replacing employees, as many as possible, and these millionaires and billionaires, and now the sole trillionaire that has ever existed in our society, they don't really care what happens to employees in the long run. It's just about making more money. And if you ask them, well, what's society supposed to do when we reach the point where, all of the jobs have been replaced? All of the hobbies have been automated. What are humans supposed to do? They just look at you and go, we'll have to figure that out when we get to it. But right now we're just trying to get to it because it'll make us more money. So, bleak times ahead, guys. Well, again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this rant, even though I didn't enjoy the fact that I felt like I had to make it. We'll see you. We'll see you for something else down the road. Hopefully not more AI slop. Till then, I'm out of here.